yourself?
I'm Latif Ladid from the IPv6 board, based in Luxembourg, and had the chance and the luck to meet some of the brightest people on this planet that have been designing IPv6.
Great. And
so I joined them, and we started the IPv6 board back in '99.
Wonderful. Can you summarize your presentation for us?
Basically, I wanted to address one of the key issues, which is how knowledge can transform society, and how people can change their lives by getting to know something new, and that we have access to. It's probably a life-changing experience. And this relates to the new Internet protocol. The protocol is the plumbing, so the IPv6 protocol is a plumbing technology. So it's fairly hidden. And on top of that, it has to be transparent to the end users. So they won't be able to touch it. Then since it's the next generation thing, so we're moving into hexadecimals, which creates a certain shock to people when they see these numbers. Although MAC addresses, they are also hexadecimals. Since they were auto-configured, so nobody paid attention to them. And that would be the case for IPv6. But before we get to that, we need to educate people how to design networks and make them function on parity with the current Internet. Later on, they will discover they can do things with IPv6 that they cannot do with IPv4 today. Right?
Great. And do you have any advice for future implementers of IPv6?
Yeah, I guess the first thing is arm yourself with a lot of patience, a lot of passion. So this is what I call peer-to-peer in IPv6. Passion and patience. Go through the documentation and try to compare IPv4 to IPv6, or go to a conference where you can meet directly the designers of IPv6, so you get most probably contaminated by this thing. And the first thing is to enable IPv6 on your laptop, and there are many ways of doing it. So the simpler way is just to download a tunnel tunnel broker. Then you'll start seeing that you are connecting to IPv6, and try to find somebody else that has IPv6, and then start doing some kind of end-to-end applications. And then you can create pilots with a small network, and if you are in an enterprise, you should maybe create also a pilot and get your company boss, in this case CTO, whoever it is, to get an IPv6 address from a registry, and then start to see what kind of applications that you can add now. Give an example of, for instance, all of these applications like Google Maps or Yahoo, YouTube, and so on. They use technology to fragment the information that they send on the internet into multiple sessions. So it takes 100 sessions or 200 sessions. So if you use IPv4, and now we're getting into smaller address space, so address space is divided among people, so you'll be getting fragmented information coming to you. And so you will see a map of Google, only portions of it, not all of it. So when you use IPv6, you'll be able to download that right away. So it will eliminate that problem. So there are many areas where ISPs today will be able to see what you can do with IPv6 that you cannot do with anything beyond NAT today or with CGN. So if we just focus on the most visited websites, in this case Google Maps and YouTube and so on and so forth, you'll be able to see that, oh, there are some killer applications that you can use for IPv6 right away. So I would ask everyone to be very passionate about new technologies and very curious, and then try to discover what's behind this technology. And most probably people will find kind of end-to-end applications that we cannot do today. So I would imagine that Facebook, as of today, is a repository of information. But with IPv6, you'll be able to do Facebook, My Facebook. Each one will have its own on his mobile device, and you'll be able to allow only people that you want to. It will be more private than the current one. So you'll be able to create many things by having an address, even a v4 address, but having somebody else who has a v4 address, you can do the same thing like with IPv6. But you can get these IP addresses. They're not easy to do. So with v6, you'll be able to do this two-way internet and symmetric. And you will be present on the internet because you are seen, you can be seen on the internet, you have that option. And then you become a producer on the internet. By becoming a producer on the internet, you have basically the same right like any large company to be able to publish your services and publish whatever you have produced right away, and anyone can connect to you directly. So we're going from this client-server model into client-server on both sides, and they can talk to each other. And this is where security works, because then I have two identified points to start with, and I can put authentication and so on, and be able to create secure tunnels between the two. This is where security is important. So you have nobody in between who's saying, well, this is not the IP address, it's the other one, but I'm federating this IP address in order to connect the other two guys. So nobody should be in between these two IP addresses. Then you'll be able to install security. And this is where, if we had 128-bit IP addresses in IPv4, you'd be able to do the same thing. But we don't have that address space, since we have now only about 190 million IP addresses, and we consume about 180 per year. So security is gone. So end-to-end security is gone. And anyone that thinks, we can still rattle with NAT and so on, does not understand security. And this is unfortunately the security is always today as a rich man's solution, and the poor man, is not protected. So there is a vision in v6 to extend security to each one, and from the solution that we've seen, it's possible to do. But it will take time until people understand how to do these things.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Good.